He belongs to an elite club. Beautiful melodic lines, lush harmonic chords, a brilliant touch, and exquisite sound. Who is Tommy Flanagan? Here on Big on Bebop. He was born Tommy Lee Flanagan in Detroit, Michigan on March 16, 1930. He was the youngest of 6 children, 5 boys and a girl. His parents were both originally from Georgia. His father, Johnson Sr., was a postman, and his mother, Ida Mae, worked in the garment industry. At the age of 6, Flanagan's parents gave him a clarinet for Christmas. He learned to read music from playing the clarinet, but at age 11, he switched to the piano. Family had a piano in the house, and Flanagan received lessons from his older brother and Gladys Wade Dillard, who also taught Kirk Lightsey and Barry Harris. Flanagan graduated from Northern High School in Detroit. His first concert was in 1945 with trombonist Frank Rosolino. Given Flanagan was only around 15 years old at the time, he could not stay in the bar area and club between sets, so he went to another room and did some homework. As a teenager, he played in a band led by Lucky Thompson that also played Pepper Adams and Kenny Burrell. Still in his teens, Flanagan also sat in on the piano for some appearances by Charlie Parker in Detroit. During 1949, Flanagan had his first residence at Bluebird Inn. He was drafted in the Army in 1951. Flanagan auditioned as a pianist for an Army show, got the job, which got him out of fighting in the Korean War. Flanagan moved to New York in 1956. He and Kenny Burrell stayed with Kenny's aunt, Harlow. Tommy soon found work in clubs and studios. He recorded with Miles Davis and Sonny Rollins for the tracks released on Collector's Items. Rollins was then the leader for another session 3 months later, Saxophone Colossus. Flanagan also first accompanied Ella Fitzgerald in 1956 for around a month. Later that year, he joined trombonist J.J. Johnson, with whom he recorded several albums with in 1957 and toured Europe late in 1957. He was part of the Miles Davis Band for a short period before returning to Johnson early the following year. Throughout the late 1950s and early 1960s, Flanagan made frequent appearances in recording studios for many leaders and record labels. In 1959, he was part of the groundbreaking recording John Coltrane's Giant Steps. Another landmark recording came in January of the following year. Flanagan was a member of the quartet that made the incredible jazz guitar of Wes Montgomery. He toured with trumpeter Harry Edson in 1959-60 and Coleman Hawkins in 1961-62. In 62, Flanagan was asked by jazz impresario Norman Granz to become Ella Fitzgerald's full-time accompanist, which he did from 1962 to 65. He had a brief reunion in 1965 with Sonny Rollins and was part of Art Farmer's short-lived New York Jazz Sextet. Flanagan then became accompanist to Tony Bennett, a part of 1966, living on the West Coast. Flanagan returned to working with Fitzgerald in 1968. In addition to being her pianist, mostly as part of a trio, he was her musical director. Flanagan ended his role with Fitzgerald in 1978 after suffering a heart attack. He continued to work with other players, including as a trio with Tal Farlow and Red Mitchell in 1980. For much of the 1980s, he led a trio that featured bassist George Moraz. In 1991, he had a collapse, resulting in a quadruple bypass surgery. He continued to play another 10 years until he finally passed in November 2001 at 71 years old. His combination of harmonic sophistication and lyric swing, transported by a silken touch, placed him among the upper echelon of jazz pianists. Tommy Flanagan, a tremendous jazz piano player.